Hello, wonderful audience. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. Thank you for choosing our video on 1966 Indianapolis 500. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. The 50th International 500-mile sweepstakes was held at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Speedway, Indiana on Monday, May 30, 1966. The official program cover for the race celebrated both the 50th running of the race and 150th anniversary of Indiana statehood. 11 of the 33 starters were eliminated in a first-lap accident right after receiving the green flag on the main stretch. Only AJ Foyt was injured, hurting his hand scaling the catch fence trying to escape the wreck scene. Only 7 cars, the fewest finishers ever, were still running by the end of the race. First time starter Jackie Stewart led by over a lap late in the race in John Mecom's Lola Ford. However, inside 10 laps to go, his oil pressure dropped too low due to a broken scavenge pump. Stewart parked the car, and after briefly attempting to push some ways, he walked back to the pits. Fellow first-time starter Graham Hill inherited the lead and led a total of 10 laps to win, the first rookie winner since 1927. Despite parking his car, Stewart was voted the Rookie of the Year over Hill, completing enough laps to finish in 6th place. Defending race winner Jim Clark spun twice during the race, and finished second. A mild controversy developed at the conclusion of the race, as Clark's crew and some observers erroneously believed the car was the race winner over Hill. However, during post-race review, the scoring serials were settled later that evening, confirming Hill the race winner and Clark placing second. For the second year in a row, the Wood brothers from the NASCAR Grand National Circuit were invited to work pit stops, this time for Dan Gurney. However, the car dropped out of the race in the crash on the opening lap. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of background and discover its practical applications. 3-year veteran Johnny Rutherford was injured in a serious crash on April 3 at Eldora and was forced to sit out the 1966 race. The Mecom racing team was scheduled to field drivers Walt Hansen, Roger Ward, and Jackie Stewart. However, Hansen died from injuries suffered in a crash during a test session at Le Mans on April 3. Graham Hill was named as a late replacement, and his name was not even listed on the entry list in the official program. Moving on to the next segment, we have practice. Practice for the Golden Anniversary 500 opened on Saturday, April 30, but cold temperatures and rainy weather for the first few days kept most cars off the track. Chuck Hull's 149.8 miles per hour was the fastest car over the first weekend. On Monday, May 2, Art Pollard became the first rookie to pass the 145 miles per hour rookie test. Jackie Stewart also passed his rookie test. On Tuesday, May 10, Mario Andretti turned a practice lap of 164.5 miles per hour during practice, establishing himself as an early favorite for the pole position. Among the others over the 160 miles per hour mark were AJ Foyt, George Snyder, and Dan Gurney. Rain washed out practice on Wednesday, May 11. On Friday, May 13, the final day of practice before time trials, Mario Andretti shattered the unofficial track record by more than 5 miles per hour, running a lap of 167.411 miles per hour. Rain hampered most of the day, but Andretti put together additional laps of 166 miles per hour and 164 miles per hour. The next fastest car was Jim Clark, whose best lap was 165.7 miles per hour. In this chapter, we'll be shedding light on Saturday, May 14 pole day time trials and its role in shaping our understanding. Mario Andretti won the pole position with a full-lap track record of 165.889 miles per hour. His best single lap was a record 166.328 miles per hour. Chuck Roddy was killed in a crash. On his second warm-up lap in Turn 1, Roddy backed into the outside wall, and he died of his injuries at the hospital. A total of 18 cars completed qualifying runs on a chilly pole day. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting Sunday, May 15 second daytime trials. After crashing on pole day, Jackie Foyt qualified at 161.355 miles per hour, the fourth fastest car in the field. In the upcoming section, we'll be shining a light on Saturday, May 21 third daytime trials. Unser brothers Bobby and Al qualified, with Al 162.272 miles per hour leading the speeds for the day. Bobby Grimm qualified his turbo-offy front-engine roadster at 158.367 miles per hour, the only such car in the field. The time has come to unravel the secrets behind Sunday, May 22 bump daytime trials and gain a deeper understanding. Two drivers managed to bump their way into the field, Ronnie Duman and Larry Dixon. Greg Weld wrecked two cars, one of which was a popular Granatelli Novi, but was uninjured. Bobby Grimm, the slowest qualifier, holds on to make the field in his front-engine roadster. Without wasting any more time, let's jump into the fascinating world of starting grid. Yellow indicates the driver was eliminated in the first lap accident. Tan indicated the driver was involved in the first lap accident, but was able to restart the race. In this section, we'll be shedding light on alternates and its impact on our understanding of the subject. First alternate, Dick Atkins. As we move forward, let's uncover the untold stories and fascinating intricacies of failed to qualify. Jim Adams entry declined, lack of experience. Gary Bettenhausen entry declined, lack of experience. Ronnie Bucknam Bill Cheesebard, Jack Coney did not appear, failed engine in practice. Dick Fries entry declined, lack of experience. Marston Gregory, Dick Gullstrand entry declined, lack of experience. Bob Harkey, Bob Hurt, Bruce Jacoby, Bobby Johns, Judd Larson did not appear. Ron Lux, Art Malone, Bob Mathassa, Mike McGreedy, Hal Minard, Dave Paul, Art Pollard, Red Regal, Chuck Rody. Fatal accident, Ed Rose did not appear. Johnny Rutherford withdrew. Injured, Sammy Sessions. Gig Stevens did not appear. Chuck Stevenson, Bob Tattersall, Bob Veith, Greg Weld, Bob Went, Billy Wilkerson entry declined, lack of experience. Dempsey Wilson, Leroy Yarbrough. In this section, we'll be deep diving into start, unraveling its complexities and uncovering valuable insights. As the field came down the main stretch for the start, Billy Foster was among those jockeying for position. As the green flag fell, he nearly touched wheels with Gordon Johncock and lost control. He spun directly into the outside wall, just beyond the start-finish line, and triggered a huge pileup. 16 cars were involved, with debris and loose wheels bouncing all over the racing surface. As the drivers instinctively scurried out of their machines to avoid possible flames, although no significant fires had broken out, Jackie Foyt became the only driver casualty of the incident. He injured his hand climbing over the catch fence on the outside of the track. He was checked out at the infield hospital and cleared to drive relief if needed. One spectator was hit by a wheel from the crash. Of the 16 cars, 11 were damaged beyond repair. The red flag came out, and after the cleanup, the race lined up for a restart with only 22 cars. The red flag delay was about 1 hour and 24 minutes. When the race was restarted, the field took several warm-up laps and restarted single file. The yellow light came back on almost immediately when Johnny Boyd crashed in turn 1 on the first green lap. Let's now turn our attention to race and examine its role within the larger context. The early half of the race was dominated by Lloyd Ruby, who was seeking his first win in the Indianapolis 500. However, a bad pit stop resulted in Ruby losing a couple of laps and he went on to finish 11th. Jackie Stewart dominated the second half of the race, leading 40 laps. Stewart was leading by a little over a lap before he began to suffer from low oil pressure with 10 laps to go. Stewart parked his car in turn 4 and briefly attempted to push the car back to the pits. Eventually Stewart abandoned the machine and walked back to the garage area. Graham Hill inherited the lead, led the final 10 laps, and won the race. His original margin of victory was 42 seconds over second place, Jim Clark, pending the final results. Get ready for an exciting exploration as we unravel the mysteries of controversy. During the race, confusion broke out over the running order, which resulted in people being unsure, even to this day, on who won the race. The confusion in the scoring led to controversy, where in second place Jim Clark's team thought they were the rightful winner. Clark had spun on two separate occasions during the race, but did not make serious contact during either incident. He did not stall his engine either time, and was able to drive to the pits for the crew to inspect the car quickly both times. Clark's team contended that he did not lose a significant amount of track position, and estimated that they were still 1 lap ahead of Graham Hill at the finish. The scoring pylon, which was manually controlled and unofficial, changed frequently and somewhat sporadically as the scoring was ironed out, much to the dismay of Clark's crew in particular, and much to the confusion of spectators. The unofficial results at the conclusion of the race showed Graham Hill winning by 41.13 seconds over Clark. The morning after the race, USAC released the official results, and the standings were unchanged. Colin Chapman and Andy Granatelli, the entrants of Clark's Lotus team, declined to file an official protest. A possible explanation given was that the Lotus crew did not see Hill pass by Clark during the aftermath of the second spin. Race winner Graham Hill admitted to having an uneventful race, being puzzled and surprised to be the winner, while other unsatisfied competitors quipped that he had never passed a car all day long. The IMS radio network, which scored the race independently from the USAC officials, also came up with Hill as the first-place car. The apparent controversy died out quickly, and no official action was ever taken. Years later, the subject is still mildly debated in racing circles. A theory emerged that scorers accidentally omitted 1 lap from Jim Clark's official tally. Therefore, he was effectively placed behind Hill at the finish. The car of Al Unser was painted nearly identical to that of Clark's. The theory is that when Al Unser crashed out of the race on lap 161, scorers mistakenly thought it was Clark, and as Clark drove by in the immediate aftermath, they credited that lap to Unser by mistake. Another version of the theory suggests an opposite situation. One of Unser's laps was erroneously credited to Clark's tally early on, and when the scoring serials were compiled and settled later in the race, the extra lap was correctly deleted. Alongside the controversy between Hill and Clark, 4th place Gordon Johncock is also theorized by some observers to have actually been the rightful winner of the race. Johncock completed the 500 miles in less elapsed time than Hill, Clark, and 3rd place Jim McElrath. However, Johncock had suffered minor damage during the first lap accident, and restarted the race in the pit lane due to the crew changing the nose cone. USAC officials did not score his first lap out of the pit lane, and he effectively ran all day carrying a 1-lap penalty to the rest of the field. With the foundation laid, let's embark on a journey into box score. Former Indianapolis 500 winner. Indianapolis 500 rookie. In this section, we'll be deep diving into race statistics, unraveling its complexities and uncovering valuable insights. Lap leaders laps. Total laps led driver Lloyd Ruby, Jim Clark, Jackie Stewart, Mario Andretti, Graham Hill. Yellow lights, 6 for 41 minutes 37 laps. Laps start approximate lap counts. Tire participation chart supply Goodyear Firestone denotes race winner. Now, let's shift our perspective and explore radio from a different angle. The race was carried live on the IMS radio network. Sid Collins served as chief announcer. Len Sutton joined the crew, serving as driver expert, replacing Fred Agaboshian. The network had gained sponsorship from Autolite, but Agaboshian worked for Champion, and he considered it a conflict of interest, so he stepped aside. He would eventually return to the network At the conclusion of the race, Lou Palmer reported from Victory Lane. The broadcast was scheduled for 4.5 hours, including a 30-minute pre-race, but the red flag delay at the start extended it. The broadcast was carried on over 725 affiliates in all 50 states, and 850 stations worldwide, including shortwave transmissions from New York and Los Angeles, and XEVIP in Mexico City. Through Armed Forces Network, the broadcast reached worldwide to locations including Vietnam, Japan, Korea, Saigon, Okinawa, Philippines, England, Spain, the Azores, Italy, France, Germany, Turkey, Greece, Pakistan, Morocco, Libya, Newfoundland, Iceland, Labrador, Greenland, and both the North and South Poles. In the Indianapolis area, nearly every major radio station simulcast the broadcast. The race was heard by an estimated 100 million listeners. Bill Frosch, who had reported from Turn 1 for over a decade, left the on-air crew, working instead in production. Mike Ahern took over the prestigious Turn 1 position. Newcomer Doug Zink took the backstretch location, while second-year member Ron Carell moved to Turn 3. The off-air, two-man serial scoring team of Bill Fleetneer and Bill Lamb were commended for their contributions to the broadcast. During this era, the radio network crew typically facilitated its own team of unofficial serial scorers to track the progress of the race. That allowed the scoring reports to be announced on air faster than the official USAC scorekeepers could produce them from race control. Despite the controversy over the scoring between winner Graham Hill and second-place Jim Clark, Fleetneer and Lamb also came up with Hill as the first-place car. For 1967, the flagship station changed from WIBC to WTHI in Terre Haute. Guests in the booth during the red flag delay included Peter DiPaolo, Cesar Romero, Johnny Parsons, Roy Parks, Lucy Foyt, Phil Harris, General Harry Wilcox, and Larry Bisceglia. During the race, guests that stopped by included Walt Arfams, Frank Borman, Al Blomka, Louis Meyer, Mickey Thompson, Jay Celsius, Edgar Janian, and Duke Nullin. Senator Birch Bay visited the booth, accompanied by Wyoming Senator Gail W. McGee and Secretary of Agriculture Orville Freeman. As a gesture celebrating the network's 15th anniversary, as well as the 50th running of the 500, guests were presented with a commemorative gold-filled Zippo lighter. One station, KXO in California, was noted and recognized as being one of the few regional affiliates to carry the race all 15 years since the network's inception. Get ready for an enlightening exploration as we dig into television and understand its role in the broader context. The race was shown live on MCA closed-circuit television in nearly 200 theaters across the United States. Charlie Brockman served as anchor. For the first time, the feed was transmitted internationally to Europe utilizing the Early Bird satellite. A short video clip showing the restart after the first lap accident, and a longer clip of the last 55 laps of the race, both synchronized to audio from the IMS radio broadcast, have been posted on YouTube. The race was carried in the United States on X Wide World of Sports. The broadcast aired on Saturday, June 4. Chris Schenkel anchored the telecast for the first time. Much of the video was culled from the live closed-circuit color telecast of the race. The time has come to unravel the secrets behind gallery and gain a deeper understanding. Farmer Comet 1966 Indy 500 pace car. In the upcoming section, we'll be dissecting works cited and exploring its intricate connections to our topic. Indianapolis 500 history, race and all-time stats. Official site 1966 Indianapolis 500 radio broadcast. Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network. Indy 500 Walker. Previous race equal previous winner equal Jim Clark. This race equal this winner equal Graham Hill. Next race equal next winner equal AJ Foyt. Category Indianapolis 500 races. Indianapolis 500 Indianapolis 500 category in American Motorsport. Category May 1966 Sports events in the United States. If you have any suggestions for future videos, feel free to drop them in the comment section.